Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday night as always. Welcome on back into The Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. Like I said, help us grow this channel more, especially leading up to the draft. We're going to have a big draft night. We're planning that out. It's going to be a big draft night for the Browns, so we're going to get into it tonight. Man, what a week it was, especially Friday, in terms of the draft stuff for the Browns. It was a big day Friday with the Colorado CU Showcase, the Colorado Pro Day, rather. They called it the Showcase. But let's get into it because I got an interesting theory tonight that I think is some people are also picking up on it. And it's funny, we mentioned this at the end of our live last Sunday. Mike and I in Jersey broke this theory down. And after the Pro Day, it seems like it could be very much more a real possibility. And so let's start with this man right here. So as you can see here, there's J.W. Johnson, son-in-law to the Haslams, part owner, big deal, big involvement with the Browns, obviously, he's part ownership, and general manager Andrew Berry. And so standing there with Travis Hunter. And so with the number 2 pick in the draft, it seems by all accounts that the Browns are leading Travis Hunter, which I think Travis Hunter should be the pick. I like Abdul Carter a lot. I think he's great. But Travis Hunter to me is just a once-in-a-generational player. He's that rare. He's that good. And I just think you just paid Myles Garrett all that money. Pass rushing hasn't really been an issue for the Browns, I don't think, overall. I think what's been their biggest Achilles is their biggest deficiency is in their offense. They haven't had an elite weapon, not a guy like Travis Hunter. I mean, Jerry Jeudy really came along last year and proved to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. Who I think could still grow, become a star. He has that much upside. But Travis Hunter, to me, is just a superstar. He's just different. You may not see another Travis Hunter ever again. A guy that can play both ways. In whatever way he plays, it's at a high level. I mean, we know how great he is. I don't need to get into it. I mean, everybody knows how great Travis Hunter is. But I just think Travis Hunter gives them something they don't have. And I just think he's just a different type of he's just a superstar already. It's like, you saw that report that came out months ago after the season said the Browns viewed Travis Hunter as like a Jim Brown type of impact on a city, just an athlete where he is the Cleveland Browns, where he's so great, so dominant, and he helps them win so many games and have so much success. I think that's what Travis Hunter is. I think that's what he will be. He's going to be a superstar. He's going to be everything you'd want him to be for a face of the franchise, really. And so I think with the number 2 pick, that's a done deal. I think the way Andrew Berry spoke about Travis Hunter at the owners' meetings and the way Kevin talked about him, how it seemed like they already have a plan for him. They already said they use him more as a receiver. That's how they view him, which I agree. I think it's setting up for them to take Travis Hunter too. I think that's who they really like. I found it kind of odd too that they went out to dinner with him the night before, and then the day of the pro day, he says, "Oh, I'm not going to work out today. I'm just going to run routes." So could be something, could be nothing. I don't know. I think it might be a little something. I think he has a good idea of what's going to happen. Then you hear the comments from Deion Sanders at the pro day saying, I think one of those guys is going to be going number 2 after his meeting with Jimmy Haslam, who he said he's a big fan of now. He really likes. And so, in my opinion, Travis Hunter, you are a Cleveland Brown. Welcome to Cleveland, buddy. That deserves this too. Where is it? Right here. Clap it up, Travis. Yep. Yep, clap it up for Travis Hunter. I'm real excited. I'll be getting the jersey, and I can tell you that. But anyways, so that leads me to the next point. Okay, so we have Travis Hunter. What about his teammate Shedeur Sanders, who was Travis worked out, ran routes. He just ran routes on Friday, but by the way, looked unbelievable just running routes. The way he runs routes, gets out of his breaks, his footwork. I heard some people saying that he needs to clean up his footwork or something, or his route. I don't know what the hell they were saying, but I'm not listening to them. I don't think you should. Well, I'm not tell you what to do, but I'm just telling you, I don't agree with that criticism. I don't. Travis Hunter may be just fine. He'll be just fine. Now, as for Shedeur Sanders, he threw on Friday. I thought Shedeur overall, if I had to give him a grade, I'd give him a B minus. I thought he did okay. I thought he had some good throws. I thought he had some bad throws. He had a couple of drops as well that weren't his fault. But um, I think Shedeur, to me, is not a top 5 pick, but I think you could take him late in the first. That's where I would grade him. I think he's a late first round pick. I think he's got to clean up some of his footwork a little bit. I know some people are talking about the ball tapping when he was throwing. I think a lot of it more when you watch his feet in the pocket. His drop back's great, but I think when he steps up, his feet at times, his front foot seems a double tap, and I think he drags the back a little bit, just a tad bit, but nothing like crazy. I think it's stuff you could fix. And I think I don't know. I thought he was okay. I mean, he had some, like I said, I thought he was. I gave him a B minus. I thought he had some really great throws. He threw the deep ball much better than any other throw. I think as the workout went on, he started to open things up more, and so I think you start to see the arm strength starts to warm up a little bit too. But um, I would rank Shedeur probably, like I said, a late first. I wouldn't take him at 2. I think that's probably about where he should be. I think he's right. He's on the cusp of, like, he's an NFL starter, but how great will he be? Will he be Dak Prescott, or could he be something greater? Could he be a Jay Daniels type? Where that kind of impact on a franchise. So I don't know. I think it's all going to depend on fit. When I look at Shedeur Sanders, though, the Browns aren't taking him at 2. Okay, the Giants at 3. I don't think they're taking him, according to Adam Schefter, especially when they just paid 2 quarterbacks. Now, you never know the Giants, but if I had to bet my money right now, I would say they're not taking a quarterback. So then you go down number 6 to the Raiders. I know the connection with Tom Brady, but by all accounts, it seems like they're taking Ashton Genty, and that's a done deal. So now you move, if he's there. So now you move to number 7, right? And you got the New York Jets. And a report came out the other day that the Jets are all in on Justin Fields. So I don't think they'll be taking Shedeur Sanders. So they're off the board. And that leads to number 9, the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints, I know Dion made the comment that he loves wearing those black and gold colors, and some people thought maybe that was a hint to the Saints. Here's the thing with the Saints. I think it could work. They got Kellen Moore. I think they definitely are interested in Shedeur. You saw some Saints scouts on the sideline there Friday. I think they're also very interested in Jackson Dart as well. There's been a lot of reports of that, which makes he played ball at Ole Miss. So they were right down the road. Got to go see him play a lot, probably, from Utah. So I think that the Saints are going to come down to how much do we really love these quarterbacks, number one, and which one do we like? Because if the Saints don't take Shedeur at 9, the next team would be the Steelers at, I think, 23, and maybe Pittsburgh will take Shedeur. Although I think it sounds like they're getting Aaron Rodgers. So if you're getting Aaron Rodgers, I don't think you take Shedeur Sanders. I don't see how they would mesh in the same room. Not that they wouldn't dislike each other. I just think Shedeur is too big of a name that whatever situation he goes into, I think the team's going to expect him to play that first year. He's going to start at some point, year 1. Whether it's week 1 or week 6, whatever. He's going to start at some point and take over, and that's going to be it. So I don't think the Steelers would be interested either. And it seems like the Steelers really like Milrow, because the Steelers know, hey, we get Aaron Rodgers, which we probably are, we could sit Milrow for a year and develop him, let him sit and develop behind Rodgers, and we'll see what we get out of him, which that makes sense for them. And so if it's not the Saints at 9, I think you're looking at the Browns have a possibility with that 33rd pick, which is basically a first rounder. It's the first pick of the second round, to trade back in the first round, use some of their additional picks that they have, later year picks, and move up and take Shedeur if you want to go up and get him, and pair him with his teammate Travis Hunter. Now, if the Saints take Shedeur Sanders, let's say they take Shedeur at 9, I still think Jackson Dart would be a name. I think the Browns would look to trade up and still try to take a quarterback in the late first, because I think the connection with Jackson Dart, I think Kevin Stefanski really likes Jackson Dart. He was there at his pro day. I thought Jackson Dart had a hell of a pro day. I thought he had a better pro day than Shedeur Sanders. I I like Jackson Dart a lot, and I think too there's actually a connection. Well, not I think there is a connection with Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders through Joe Judge. Do you remember Joe Judge, the old head coach of the New York Giants? Joe Judge was Jackson Dart's. He helped develop Jackson Dart. He was his assistant coach at Ole Miss early on in his career. What's the connection between Joe Judge and Kevin Stefanski? Oh, they were high school teammates. So there's a connection there. But there's also a connection with Shedeur Sanders as well. Obviously, you saw Kevin Stefanski talking a lot with Pat Shermer on the sideline of the showcase on Friday. So it's going to be really interesting to see who they like, and I think it's all going to depend on what does the Saints, who do they take at number 9? Who are the Saints taking at number 9? Are they taking a quarterback? And if so, is it going to be Dart or is it going to be Sanders? Because whatever one they don't take, I think there's a high chance the Browns trade back up in the first round and get them both. Or not get them both, but get a quarterback. And they may get them both the Colorado guys. Because if the Saints don't take a quarterback or they take Dart, you heard what Andrew Berry said after the pro day when he spoke to the media. Man, I wish I can get both of them. Maybe Andrew is dropping a little hint on what he's really trying to do. I don't know. I find it interesting, and I'm all about it. I cannot wait. We're less than 2 weeks now till the draft. It's coming up right upon us. And this draft, man, it's the biggest Browns draft I've seen, most hype drafts since 2018. And so I'm really excited. Most important draft for the Browns in a long time. So yeah. But joining me now to give his take on this is the man, the myth, the legend, Professional Mike. Mike, what's happening?
Hello, beautiful people.
Let's get some of these comments here real quick.
Absolutely.
Okay. What's up, beautiful people? I can tell you this is you, Mike. What's up, beautiful people? Please like, subscribe, and share. Yes, please do. Shout out to Parent John. What up, people? He said not Browns related, but we need the Respita. Yeah, maybe.
Yes, we do.
Buying a Hunter jersey the next day. So I will start that because I will be buying one with you, Parent John. Mike, welcome into the reel. So let's start here, Mike. Let's start with the Travis Hunter side of things. What did you think of the pro day? And he ran routes with no gloves on. It still looked great, catching the ball with no gloves. What did you think of the pro day, and what were your takeaways? What did you think of the interactions with all the smoke around them and Travis Hunter and the interactions they had with him?
Yeah, I mean, the smoke is in the betting lines too. I'm sure Dan will appreciate this point. The chances of Travis Hunter going 2 overall is now minus 100, and it is the only the line that isn't plus. So insiders are saying it. I mean, the Browns essentially have said it outright. They like Travis Hunter. They have told Travis Hunter in no certain terms, basically after dinner and everything, hey, you're coming to Cleveland. Deion Sanders came out and said, hey, one of those kids is going to Cleveland for sure. And he said that in an interview. And I mean, just based on the interactions, based on we kind of talked about the last time on how Andrew Berry spoke on Travis Hunter, it seems like it's pretty much done. That Travis knows he's going to the Browns. The Browns have told him they're picking him at 2. And that's that. Like, now, as far as the Shedeur Sanders stuff goes, that could get interesting. Because I don't know if the Saints pick Shedeur or Jackson Dart. I don't even know if they go quarterback because they do have a lot of needs on the defensive line still. At corner, I mean, because Will Johnson could very well be sitting there for them, and you get not counting Travis Hunter, the second best DB in the draft. That could be something that the Saints are doing because, Marshawn Lattimore is gone. They really don't have anybody in the secondary right now. The Saints are in a very soft rebuild. The offense can still put up some points, but I mean, they have Spencer Rattler. They still have Derek Carr under contract, and they said that they're not moving off of Kellen Moore. And Derek Carr, I think, will actually work out a lot better because he worked with Dak Prescott, and him and Derek Carr are very similar in the way they play. I don't know. I don't think they go quarterback. And if he starts falling, like I can see the Browns trading up to 20 easily, or the late teens easily, to pick up Shedeur Sanders. Um, yeah, and Param Job breaks him a good point. The Saints said that they are high on Spencer Rattler, and here after another year of development with Kellen Moore in there, maybe they give Spencer Rattler a full go after training camp to be the starter. So yeah, I don't see the Saints going quarterback. Outside of Cam Ward, it's really hard to put a first round grade on anybody but Shedeur Sanders, and even then, he's the 22nd best prospect. But if you can get him at 20, trade back up and get him at 20, absolutely do it all day long.
Let me throw out another team to you that has been linked to Shedeur over the weekend. Number 18, Seahawks. Because they don't have a quarterback other than Sam Howell.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. They just paid
Sam
well.
Darnold
I mean,
all that money.
Could the Seahawks still be an option?
I mean, it's a possibility, but I mean, Sam Darnold just came off his career best season, Pro Bowl season, is getting paid what, close to $40 million a year for 3 years to be the starter.
And I only asked because I'm looking up the headlines of Shedeur Sanders, and a lot of them have him linked to the Seahawks a little bit.
I think that seems a little unrealistic, just with how much they're.
Yeah, I was just curious what you thought about that because you know.
Yeah, no, my thought.
I know they have Sam Howell. I forgot about they got Darnold. Sorry.
Yeah, they paid Darnold all that money. I don't see it. It just doesn't make any sense. I think that, I mean, Darnold's coming off of that year. You paid him all that money, and then you're going to draft a quarterback. I don't think that would go over well. Like with either party, because either one, you're telling Sam Darnold, hey, we're unsure about you, or two, you're telling Shedeur, hey, you're going to sit for the breadth of this contract. And Shedeur is not going to sit for 2-3 years. A year, maybe. But like 2-3 years, no.
No, I agree. I totally forgot they signed him. Sorry. I was just reading the headline because I looked at the roster. I saw they had Sam Howell. So when I scrolled up, then when you said Darnold, I scrolled up. Then I saw Darnold. But yeah, I don't know. But let me ask you this though. So we both agree they're taking Travis Hunter, right?
Yeah,
that's a done deal. I mean, everybody knows that. So number one, what do you think their plan will be with Travis Hunter? Do you think they'll put him? Obviously, he's gonna be wide receiver. That's his main thing. How much do you think they'll use him a lot on defense, and how much does that impact them in terms of maybe trading Greg Newsome at all, if any?
I mean, I don't. He said,
or will they even trade Greg? I don't know.
I don't think they will. But yeah, with Travis, I mean, Andrew Berry has said that he sees him as more of a receiver. But even still, he also said that he could see him playing in both, in both sides of the ball full time. So I think that the Browns really enjoy like how creative they'd have to get with Travis Hunter. Andrew Berry about to pull like a real life draft day. If he yells at another GM, oh, that would be awesome. If it's like in draft day where he's yelling at like, I don't know, John Lynch or whoever. John Lynch, you pancake eating motherfucker. Are you going to do this trade or not? Yelling at him. That would be awesome. We don't got no sponsors yet. I don't got to worry about it.
It don't matter if we did.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I think it's a possibility he can play on both sides of the ball. I've always been a little wary of that just because of injury concerns and durability when it comes to the next level. Doing that in college is one thing. And even then, he had some injury concerns in the past. I could see him as a full-time wide receiver while playing like in dime packages as a DB or like robber packages, maybe. But yeah, I could see them getting creative with him.
Yeah, I can too. I think you play him both ways, mainly wide receiver, but I think he can play both ways. I think he's just that much of a freak. I mean, when you watch this guy in his workouts, I mean, I saw one of the off-season workouts one time on the Well-Off Media clips. from last season, and they were running gassers, 100 yards, right? They ran probably 20 gassers, 100 yards. This guy was not only the first one back, but looked like he even really broke a sweat.
Right.
Like he's that much of a freak. Like his conditioning is unbelievable. He doesn't get tired. And when you watch this guy play, Mike, he just looks like when you watch him at the pro day Friday, the way he walks around and he just looks like he's out there just having fun. Like he's just like it looks like a kid playing ball in the park. Like it looks so easy to him. Like he's out there just walking around, and he just hop me. He goes, "Oh, you want me to run a route?" He'll hop out there. Okay, what route you want me to run? And he'll go out there, run the route, and it'd be flawless. It looks like the greatest route run you've seen. And it catch the ball flawlessly, squares the ball, drops his knees, square catches the ball. His catch rate is unbelievable. I mean, his knack for the ball, his ball skills are just absolutely elite. And so, this guy to me, you can play him both ways you want. Now, I think they'll use him mainly wide receiver, obviously. But I think there'll be certain packages, certain games where you can throw him out there, receiver or not receiver, corner, and he'll probably make you some plays. I mean, he might get you a pick. He'll definitely get you some pass breakups. He can cover 1/3 of the field. He's one of those guys you can just leave him. He can cover 1/3 of the field, which is something we haven't really had at an elite level consistently like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really excited, Mike. The more I talk about it, the more excited I get, and the more I can wait to put on that jersey that says number 1200 on the back. And so, I can't wait, man.
Oh, I know. It'll be exciting.
Travis is a smart kid. He doesn't even drink or smoke, just plays video games and goes fishing. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I like about him too. And there's been a lot of reports, like when they went to San Antonio, there was a report that came out from Whitlock that the whole offensive side of the ball went to a club the nights lead up to a game, and all 10 guys were there on the offensive side of the ball, but one guy that wasn't there was Travis Hunter. Was not there.
Whoop. Well, it looks like Joseph is having some technical difficulties, but yes, Paramjot. Travis is a very, very smart kid. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, all that good stuff.
I don't know what happened. I just like froze and kicked me out. I don't know. What was that? What'd you last thing you heard?
Sent to the shadow realm. Yeah, no, I was just responding also to Paramjot's comment after.
Oh yeah, did you hear? Well, I was saying there was 11 guys, or when they were at San Antonio for that Alamo Bowl, the nights lead up to the game, there was guys going to the club,
Mm-hmm.
and all 10 guys were there, but not Travis Hunter. He wasn't there. He just don't go out. He's known. He just doesn't. This is not his thing. He just sits in the house and keeps to himself, and he's a nice kid. So
Video games and football.
Yeah, video games, football, and fishing. So I think that's perfect. That's what you want in Cleveland. You need guys that are going to buy into where they are. They would just find living here. They would just find settling in here. And I think it's going to be a great pick. I don't know if they can ask for a better pick than this. Honestly, I think this is what they need. They need a transformative franchise player. That's what he is. He's a once-in-a-generational player. And I think it's at a time when the Browns need it the most, Mike. I mean, coming off the year we had, whatever it was, and 3-13. Was it 3-14? Excuse me, 3-14, and you look at the offensive side of the ball outside of Jerry Jeudy. There's really nobody over there you're really excited about right now. And so throwing this kid on that side of the ball, and you get a quarterback back there, which we'll get to in a minute, and a running back, but you put this kid out there in the field, man. You just get the ball in his hands. You just had a competent quarterback, better than what we had last year, that could just get the ball in his hands. I mean, this kid can win you games.
Oh yeah, I agree.
By the way, Liquid Death, you want to sponsor us? Hit us up. Anyways, not a sponsor, but they want a sponsor. Please hit us up. Yeah, throw that out there. But so moving on though, Mike, to Shedeur Sanders. I'm curious what you think. How realistic do you think it is? I mean, you kind of gave your answer already, but how realistic do you think it is that he really could fall to a place where the Browns could take him? Then I have a follow-up question for you.
I'm about 50-50 on it right now. There's still a lot of smoke out there with a couple of teams that might be interested in Shedeur Sanders, but there's been some reliable insiders who have said that they think he's going to fall. So I'm pretty 50-50 on it at the moment. If I had to guess, the teams in front outside of the Giants are really quarterback needy. Outside of them, I could see every other team who possibly could take a quarterback not. like the Saints, like the Raiders. I don't, I don't see them doing that, at least not this year. If this was next year's draft, maybe they'd do it. But yeah. I think it's very possible he falls, but I'm still 50-50. There's still a strong chance that New York, the owner who's already pissed off at the situation because what happened with Barkley just, makes the decision himself, the president of football over there, the owner or majority shareholder, whatever he is.
Allegedly, they're letting Dable do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, Dable's doing it. It's going to be Abdul Carter, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they would do that anyways. Why would you bring a rookie quarterback like in a name like that into a room with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah, I don't
that doesn't make any sense. I think that's chaos.
I think Abdul Carter makes the most sense for them because Kayvon Thibodeau hasn't worked out. You got to pay him soon. You already paid Brian Burns. That would solidify your defense.
Yeah, I agree. Put him opposite of Burns. Let him cook, and
then you have Dexter Lawrence in the middle.
Yeah, that'd be nasty.
That'd probably be one of the better defensive lines in all of football, honestly.
Yeah, Parent John says 40% chance he falls. I'm gonna say, based on what I'm hearing, what you hear from scouts and just people like the people in the know that are leaking out to these reporters, I'm gonna say a 60% chance he falls.
Ooh, so we got a 40, we got a half, and we got a 60.
I think 60. I think the reaction coming out of that pro day was not what they wanted in their camp. I don't think on that side I don't think they got the reaction they wanted. But I think if you're a team like the Browns that wants in the fall, that pro day went exactly how you wanted it to go. That's my opinion. And so I think there's a chance, 60% chance he falls. Now, my follow-up question would be, Mike, if he falls, how far do you think he could fall, and where would they have to trade, do you think, to get him?
If he falls, I mean, he could fall. Like, I would be worried about getting past the Steelers. But other than that, like, if he falls and he's falling past the team, if I'm the Browns, I'm calling every team before the Steelers. Like, I'm calling for the 18th pick. I'm calling for the 19th. I'm calling for the 20th, et cetera, just to try and make something happen because at the end of the day, the contract changes and everything else is very minimal. And honestly, the draft capital you'd probably have to move up isn't like something crazy. You could probably do it for this second, next year's second, and something else this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he could fall if, like, let's say the Browns wanted to wait until see if he could get to 33. I don't think he would make it to 33 realistically. I think he would. I think the Steelers would pick him up, honestly.
I don't think they would with Aaron Rodgers, dude.
I don't know, man.
I don't think I don't think they would do that at all. I don't think the Sanders would want to do that either. That's just me.
A weird organization to get drafted to as quarterback.
I think Shedeur wants to fall so the Browns can take him. I totally agree. I think there's.
We take Travis. I mean, what's a better situation? You get your best friend, who's basically your brother, who's also one of the best prospects.
Shout out to Lynch.
Oh, shout out Jeremy.
But
yeah, no, I think that would be the best case scenario for him. And then you're going in, you have Jerry Jeudy, you have David Njoku, you're going to have a better running game this time around. We're going to invest into that position group early.
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers, in my opinion, would take him. I think if they're taking Aaron Rodgers, which they are, signing Aaron Rodgers, excuse me, they're going to take a guy that could sit for a year. Shedeur's not a guy that's going to sit for a year. Whoever drafts him, the league's going to push it. He's going to push it. Obviously, he's going to play his first year at some point. He's going to take over by then. Once he starts, he's taking over. That's it.
I wouldn't be surprised because the Kirk Cousins thing, other than Diana Rossini just saying that it seems likely because it makes sense, there's not been really any.
That's not real traction, though, to me.
No, it's not. And that's what kind of the point I'm bringing up is like, there hasn't been any real rumors of the Browns wanting to trade for Kirk Cousins. It's just been like, oh, it makes sense. They need a starting quarterback. Kirk Cousins is that. He's not going to be a starter. There's a connection with Kevin Stefanski. But yeah, I could see them being like, hey, we're going to trade back up. We're going to get Shedeur Sanders. There's our starter right there. And then pick up a UDFA or something as your third quarterback practice squad guy. But
should be noted, too, the Steelers have spent time at a number of pro days this offseason, and head coach Mike Tomlin made it clear that the team is scouting quarterbacks during their pro day trail. He mentioned schools like Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, and others when addressing the QB class. The next school coming up was Colorado. The Steelers' big names were not there.
Okay.
Pittsburgh didn't have their typical brass at the Boulder Pro Day to check out Sanders. So far, there's been no report that he's heading to the Steelers for a pre-draft visit, and did not hold a formal meeting with him at the NFL Combine.
Wow. They didn't even try.
And I've seen more smoke with them and Jalen Milroe. So,
because
it makes the most. I'm not surprised. It makes sense because it makes the most sense because you're bringing in Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is your starter for a whole year. So you got to bring in a guy that's more of a project, that's Milroe.
Right.
So, Steelers are going to sign Duck Hodges, and he's going 1-0 against the Browns. So he did that one game. Duck Hodges. I remember that little run. Remember that Duck Hodges run? Everybody was freaking out over Duck Hodges.
Very briefly. It's like a fever dream at this point.
2019, yeah. Yeah, so I think there's a 60% chance he falls. And to have a little fun with this, Mike, I got the mock draft on deck.
Oh, always.
So we're going to do just a first round mock. Well, 2 rounds. We'll do one because we got a. You want to do a full, Mike?
Yeah, let's do a full.
Fuck it, we'll do a full. So here we go. We'll do a full mock draft, and we're gonna try. What we're gonna do, Mike, before we hit start, we're gonna trade up to where we think we'll get them. Now, on these mock drafts, though, I want to point out they've been having Shedeur going 7 a lot to the Jets, but I don't think the Jets are gonna take him. So we'll have to try to let's see if he goes there first. So we'll take Travis. And we'll pause. And they didn't take him. So he's still on the board.
All right.
No, never mind. They had the Giants take him.
Oh.
But I don't think the Giants will take him.
I don't think so either.
So here, let's do this. Here's what we'll do, Mike. We'll do a first round mock. We'll pick for every team.
Ooh, I love doing this.
So we'll see. Now we can kind of dictate where we think, because we're going to do what we think could be realistic.
Yeah.
So let's start here with the Titans. That's obvious. Cam Ward.
Oh, the share screen isn't updating.
Oh, shoot. 1 second. Sorry, folks. All right. Thanks for reminding me. All right. How about now?
Marcy. My cat is chiming in as well.
Yeah, the cat said, "Give me Shedeur now." Yeah.
One Cam Ward.
All right, here we go. So Cam Ward, we'll take him. Travis Hunter, easy peasy. Abdul Carter, easy peasy. Who do you think? Say that again.
Mason Graham.
I totally agree. I think he's top 5 by far.
Campbell.
Did he need a tackle though?
Yes.
Yeah, you got.
They need a tackle or a guard, and
they need a tight end though, man. Tyler Warren, woo!
In the top 5, I don't know.
Tyler Warren's a top 5 pick. He's that as valuable as tight ends are nowadays.
I won't argue. I love him as a prospect. I just think the positional value in the top 5.
I think
he would be a very high drafted. He might. Would he be the highest drafted tight end if he goes 5?
I just think because as many 12 personnel sets you see nowadays, multiple tight end sets that teams run, he has value.
Yeah, and they just did get Liam Cohen, who runs that shit. Yeah, why not?
Tyler Warren, dude, I'm telling you, that's a great pick for Trevor Lawrence, your boy. Ashton Genty, interesting. Jets. They need a tackle here.
Will Campbell.
Yeah, I agree. Will Campbell. The Panthers.
Tetatoro McMillan.
Have fun with that. Okay.
Will Johnson.
Okay, so we're at the Saints now. This is the one we were talking about.
It's going to be Will Johnson.
You think so?
I don't know why Jahdae Barron is so high. PFF is high.
Will Johnson. So they need a running back, wide receiver, D lineman.
That is also a lie. They need DBs.
Yeah, we'll say that. So we'll say they pass on a quarterback.
I think they will.
All right, Will Johnson it is. The batters.
They'll go.
They could use a running back for Caleb.
Yeah, but they're not going to pick Omarion Hampton this.
What else do they need?
They could use more defensive linemen. Did they sign? I'm trying to remember who they signed in free agency. They got
They could use back end help too. Malachi Starks.
Yeah, but Kyler Gordon is a really good young safety. They like their DBs are actually pretty decent. So are their linebackers. I think they go Mike Green, get someone to help out.
I love that pick. I think it's a phenomenal pick. Mike Green. Yeah, that dude's a baller.
These motherfuckers need O-line. Membu.
Yeah, I agree.
These motherfuckers need everything.
They need everything.
Who's the best wide receiver available?
Let's see here. Luther Burden, Matthew Golden.
Wow, the PFF is so wild.
I think Matthew Golden.
My wide receiver 2 in the draft is Matt Golden. So if they need a wide receiver, I'd say Matt Golden.
And he's a Texas product, so yeah, makes sense.
Miami, they need everything. What tackles? Armstead just retired.
Yeah, Josh Simmons. That's an easy one. I would go Josh. I think Josh Simmons is the best tackle actually in the draft.
And they also need offensive line, but they also need linebacker. So
and a safety.
And a safety. They need a safety. An edge. Malachi Starks is one of the best.
Or Jahad Campbell.
Malachi Starks.
Yeah,
he can do both.
The Falcons.
Jahad Campbell or James Pierce Jr. goes.
I'm gonna say Jahad Campbell.
He could probably put his hand in the dirt.
The Cardinals. They've had an underrated offseason.
Oh, they really did. They need a corner. Jahdae Barron.
Yeah. The bum.
Defense.
James Pierce Jr.
Yeah.
Because they're probably going to get Henderson's replacement. By the way, what did you think of the Cincinnati owner, the comments she made about Trey Hendrickson?
The comments she made about Trey Hendrickson and her entire organization are just, I don't know what they're doing. And if I'm a Bengals season ticket holder, I'm not feeling great. We can move anywhere after this offseason. Trey Hendrickson should just be happy to be with the team. It's like, should just be happy to be with the team. He's one of the best pass rushers in the game, and this is a job. This is a job for these men.
Where did Ashton go? We had him go 6 to the Raiders. Yeah, what the hell was she thinking saying, oh, yeah, by the way, we can move this team? And how dare you say that to Trey Hendrickson? The guy is a class act, a great, I think top 5 edge rusher in the league right now. You look at his stats, he's 17.5 sacks last season, 2 seasons. Dude's like the sack king. How dare you say that to him and act like he's just some like nobody? Or he should be happy. Happy with what is your cheap ass organization? Did you just pay 2 wide receivers for? I don't know why you paid 2. I could see you paying Shamar, but you want to pay 2 of them. You can't protect your quarterback. He's already got injured so much. I don't get it at all. That pissed me off when I saw that about Trey Hendrickson.
San Antonio. They'd go to San Antonio, Paramjot.
Whatever. Go down by the creek. Anyways, yeah. That was crazy. Just act like, how dare you how dare you, Trey Hendrickson, just not be so happy to be here, be so grateful. Hey, so great for the padlocked fucking vending machines and Gatorade machines, you assholes. I mean, I can't believe I'm done. Anyways, you can see it pissed me off because I like Trey Hendrickson a lot, Mike.
They lost DK. They'll do Luther Burden.
Over Emeka?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Put Emeka with his teammate.
They're going to put Jackson Smith and Jigba at the 1. They need another slot receiver. At the end of the day, Luther Burden, I like Emeka a lot, but Luther Burden is a far better prospect.
No, he's not, but okay. Luther Burden is.
All right. Here comes the trade.
What, the Bucks?
Yep.
Oh,
John Payton ain't trading pick 20 to us.
Yeah, but the Steelers aren't taking him at 21.
But we got to ask ourselves this: are the Browns going to risk that?
Yeah, because I think the Browns have a good idea what the Steelers are going to do. If the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers.
They don't know
I think,
for sure, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if I think these teams have a good feel who's liking what, and I think at this point in the draft, because we already took Travis and he's falling, I think he would start to make it pretty clear where he wants to go. The heat would be on. I don't think you have to right there. I think you could let it drop. Personally, I think you could take the risk.
Well, if they're taking the risk, then they'd go Donovan Eziraku.
I think you could take that because I don't think the Bucks would trade it anyways. But let's see, edge, linebacker, DB.
I think they would just take Eziraku.
Yeah, I mean, they do need DB help though, man.
There's not really a DB worth. I mean, unless they really like Benjamin Morrison, but
yeah, I agree. Emeka Buka? Get Bo Nix a nice little weapon.
Him or where's Colston Loveland?
He is right there.
Colston Loveland. They need a tight end.
All right, fine. The Steelers.
Kenneth Grant, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they would take. Well, here's the thing though: they don't have a second round pick. So if they want Jalen Milroe,
they could trade back up.
I think they take Milroe. That might sound crazy, but I think they would take him. I think
they're looking at the long. Shedeur's there. I just don't know if that happens though. You know what I mean?
They're not gonna, but they know they can't take Shedeur, and they're not. They're not interested in Shedeur. So they're very interested in Jalen Milroe because I think it sets up perfect for them. That's how the Steelers operate. We're going to bring in Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be our starting quarterback. And in about a year or two, we have our develop. It's the same thing the Packers did with Jordan Love.
I can kind of see what you're saying.
That's exactly what they're going to do. It makes the most sense for them.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
I'm going to say would I take him this high? No. But do I think they're going to take him? I do. Milroe it is. The Chargers.
This would be Igbuka.
Yeah, I agree. Ooh, over Kenneth Grant, though. I don't know if you pass on his guy like that.
Packers would take Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, I probably agree with it. Vikings.
Walter Nolan. Kelvin Banks. They need a tackle.
Yeah, the Rams.
Michael Williams.
Can I throw out a name for the Rams, if you don't mind?
Sure.
That I don't think they're going to take here. A guy who I like, and Schnooks does. Tyler Shuck, I think would be perfect for the Rams. Because I think Tyler Shuck, and you bring him in behind Matt Stafford for a year or two, whatever. He's an older quarterback. Well, kind of older. Not really, though. He's only 25. So, but I think the upside there, I think they brought him in there, got him acclimated in their system for a year or two. And by the time Matt Stafford walks out, they have a guy that's ready to start then and still keep the train rolling. And he has all the arm talent. So I think Tyler Shuck would be a name I'd watch for the Rams. Personally, that's just me. But who do you think they take here, Mike?
Either Michael Williams or Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I'm going to say Michael. The Ravens.
Little
Shamar Stewart action?
That would suck for us, but sure.
Yeah. All right, so now we're getting down to the end of the first, Mike. I think this is where we probably trade in.
Jalen Walker.
I think the Lions stick and take Jalen. Now we're down to the Washington, Buffalo. I think it'd be Washington or the Eagles we make a trade with.
Yeah, I could see this, especially with Washington trading like a Greg Newsome and pick 33. That would make sense.
All right, so do you want to try then?
Yeah.
Well, we're not try. We're charged to everybody. So I'll let you do this, Mike. This is all you. So what are you giving up here?
So I'm giving pick 33.
Right.
Can we include players?
Yep.
Yeah, select Greg Newsome. And then for pick 29.
Any futures or late picks?
I mean, that's a pretty fair trade at this point.
I mean, they're only dropping 4 spots.
They're only dropping 4 spots, and they're getting a starting caliber corner, which they need. I mean, maybe we'd include a 6th just to sweeten the deal, and we have so many that we want to offload anyway. So
we'll give them a 27-6. How about that?
Well, no, we'd offload one of the 6s we have. Give them pick like 214.
We'll give them 200.
All right.
I'll keep 216 because it's just 216. So offer trade. Well, what do you mean it didn't accept it? We're in charge of the Commanders.
Just force it.
Yeah, where's that at? Oh, right there.
Right.
Yeah, force this trade. All right, so that's our trade. So you want to break this trade down again, Mike, real quick?
Yeah, I think this would be pretty realistic if the Steelers don't, in fact, take a Shedeur, aren't interested. We're moving up a couple spots into the first because if Shedeur does fall and they want a quarterback, Shedeur is the best fit, and you want to capture that 5th-year option, so it's worth him just moving up from 33 to draft him in the first. So they get the Commanders get a long-time corner that they really need. They tried with Marshawn Lattimore, who was very okay, but outside of him, they really don't have any staying power in that position. And also they get just a late-round pick as well to just sweeten the deal, have more picks, fill out their team a little bit more.
And by the Browns trading Greg Newsome, it saves $16 million in the cap too, I believe.
Yep.
So Shedeur Sanders, Mike?
Yep.
How about Riley Leonard?
No.
Will Howard?
If we weren't picking Shedeur Sanders.
Dart, Gabriel, Ewers, McCord, Shuck. Rourke.
Certified dart hater.
Mertz, Graham Mertz. Shedeur Sanders it is.
Max Bossmer.
All right, the Bills.
The Bills.
The receiver.
Alec Manor is nice. He is nice. He could turn into something special.
The Chiefs. Tackle, Gray Zabel.
He could turn into a tackle at the worst, though. He becomes a guard. Philly would go Derek Harmon.
I'd say Nick Scorton maybe. The replace
Derek Harmon, they can move to the edge, though.
Yeah, I'll go Derek. All right, so grading your draft. Well, you know the draft. Okay. So here's our first round. We zoom out of this mic so everybody can see it. This is our first round mock for every team. And let me see here. Okay, that's better. You want to break this down, Mike? What do you like here?
I
think the top 3 are pretty. Top 4, I think, are pretty cemented.
Yeah, and then Ashton Genty is either going to the Raiders at 6 or Chicago at 10. That's pretty much set in my opinion. I think they're a little higher on Mike Green, but I think Chicago would like somebody as raw as Mike Green. It just fits what the Bears are trying to do. Atlanta really gets a good one in Jihad Campbell. I wish he would have not looked so good at the combine and everything, so he could have stayed in the second round. So the Browns had a chance to take him because Jihad Campbell's so good at football. But yeah, I think it's overall, this is a very likely scenario.
Yeah, I really like my favorite pick besides Travis Hunter to 2 of the Browns is Tyler Warren at 5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like that pick a lot. I think Tyler Warren's values much higher. His position's much higher value now than people think because I think teams run multiple tight end sets now, and I think his skill set, he's a Gronk type of guy. He's that good. I think he'll be a great piece for Trevor Lawrence to get back on track. Saints going at 9, going to Will Johnson. So we didn't think they'd take a quarterback. They seem to be all in on Spencer Rattler and Derek Carr still with their new head coach, Kellen Moore, offensive mind. So I could see that. Pick before that, number 8, Ted McMillan. A lot of people really split on him, Mike. What do you think of Ted McMillan?
I think he has good body control. He has good hands. He's the size you want for a wide receiver one. It's just really hard to gauge because he played at Arizona. You know what I mean?
What do you think of his comments saying that he doesn't watch film?
I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either. I know somebody I trust who's a coached wide receivers in college at a high level. Let's leave it at that. Won the national championships. He thinks Ted McMillan's gonna be a bust.
I wouldn't. I mean, it's a very.
I think Matt Golden's the best receiver in this draft.
Yeah.
Matt Golden's my number one receiver by far. 13, Josh Simmons. I like that pick a lot. I think Josh Simmons is actually best tackle in this draft. Bengals get James Pierce Jr. edge. I like that pick. Obviously, the big one here is the Steelers taking Jalen Milroe at 21. But if they're that high on him, they have a second round pick. I think why not take him and let him sit behind Rodgers for a year, whatever. Yeah, I mean, other than that, obviously the big one, well, the biggest one for us is us trading back up, taking Shedeur at 29. So the Browns get Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, Mike. And so that's our mock draft. Let me turn this off. Joining us now, though, Mike, is the man, the myth, the legend. Always keep another man, myth, the legend. Always keeping it real. That was 2 years ago. If he still doesn't watch film, then it's a problem. No, I don't think he still watches film. There's some more stuff that came out about him recently that I think he still doesn't watch film. Ramsey better off with Milroe or Dart than the younger and still for 2 years. Maybe I think Shuck, though, the older guy, I think would be. I don't know. I could see them taking him later on. I don't think they have a chance to get Milroe or Dart. So I think that'd be a name later on that could still be available for them. Evan Ingram with the mile highs. So you think they still take two tight end or Colston Loveland, Mike?
Yes, because of the offense they run. Even though they got Evan Ingram, I mean, their other tight end, they released Greg Dulcich, so they really don't have another tight end. And Evan Ingram's more of a pass catcher anyway. He's not a good blocker. Colston Loveland could do both.
Says Milroe getting invited to the draft. Did he get promised a pick in the first round? I think the Steelers personally.
I saw that today.
I think he kind of hinted that too at the end of his pro day. But joining us, Mike, is he's always keeping it real as it gets. Jersey's in the house.
They can have Milroe.
After that, welcome on in. Did you see our mock draft there? We got Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders.
That's what it seems like. It's lining up to be.
Well, let's start with this jersey. Saw the picture earlier. If I had it up, I don't know where it went. Right here. Here we go. Mike and I think, and a lot of people, the odds. What were the odds, Mike, about Travis Hunter? He's number one now in the odds.
-100.
Yes, he's -100 now. He's the pick for the Browns at number 2. Seems to be a done deal. Jeremy says, "Oh hey." What do you think, Jersey? It seems like it's a done deal. I know you're real excited. He's been your number one player all along, mine as well. But how excited are you that Travis Hunter seems to be a Cleveland Brown?
Very excited. Just can't wait to watch the guy. The guy's just dynamic to watch. He's must-see TV. It puts us on prime time more. It's just be cool to watch him actually play both sides of the ball occasionally. Just watch it. The guy's he's going to be one of the all-time greatest players. Just an absolute joy to watch this guy play. He plays football like a kid, and you can tell he really loves the game. And it just looks so simple for him.
Yeah, what'd you think of his pro day? Obviously, he didn't work out or anything; he just ran routes. You and I watched it together. But, Mike, if you want to add anything to this, I mean, it looks like he just, like I said earlier in the show, he just looked like he's out there like it's too easy for him.
Well,
he looks like a kid in the park.
In all of their workouts and the practices, everything we've ever watched, it's always seemed like that. And guys just sitting there huffing and puffing, gassed out. He looks like he just rolled out of bed. I mean, he's not breathing hard. He just looks super relaxed. Even watching in that pro day, the first thing I noticed is this guy's out there with no gloves, and he looked like a guy in his body language. He looked like a guy that already knew where he was going. He just found out, and he was just out there helping out. So, just very excited. So I hope they get a guy that can get the ball to him.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Carter is out, I guess. When Andrew talked about it, sounded like the decision was between Travis and Shedeur. You can't go wrong on taking Travis. Any thoughts, Mike?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the way it seems. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an internal discussion about it, but like, yeah, I think it's going to be Travis, and they're going to try and trade back up as the situation that they're going to try and find themselves in.
Yeah, Andrew Berry's comments after, and I want your guys' opinion on this. I brought this up earlier. Said he goes, "Man, I wish I can get both of them." And I'm kind of paraphrasing a bit, but Mike, he saw that it was his presser at the pro day, and he goes, "Man, I wish I can walk away with both of them."
You just might, Andrew.
Yeah, Jersey. It seems like the only team that could take him is at 9, the Saints. But yet again, they may not. So if the Saints don't take him at 9 and he falls, I mean, how aggressive would you be to go up and get him?
I mean,
and if Jackson Dart's still on the board too.
Well, I mean, it's how bad do you want to pair him with Travis?
Yeah.
If you look at right now, you compare both of them, watch them on film. It looks like it would appear that Jackson Dart's going to be the better quarterback. But I've said all along, there's so many guys that look great in pro days and in camp and even their first couple games, and they just turn out to be shit. And then you get guys that were picked late and maybe came in, rode the bench for a year, 2 years, then come in and they end up being great players. So you just don't know. I think it makes them both more comfortable, to be with each other. I mean, it's almost like they're like brothers,
Yeah.
But like I said, I wouldn't be upset if they traded up, within the last 10 picks of the first round to get him. If whatever they had to do up in that range, I wouldn't be upset. I mean, there's just not. I don't think there's one guy. I don't think there's one quarterback. I mean, you take Cam Ward at 1, he's going to be gone. So I don't think there's another guy left, another quarterback left in this draft that should be there and should or shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? It's just they're all equal in my opinion. I mean, I don't believe in any other ones other than him. So if they need a quarterback, I'm fine with them taking him there and taking a shot. I mean, here the upside is the kid's got unbelievable confidence, which is what you got to have. Most guys, they don't, or they get in there and it just gets shattered. I don't think his will ever get shattered. And
yeah, I agree. I don't think his will get shattered. And I think he has a good. In terms of timing in the passing game. I think he has a great feel for it. I think he has a really good pocket presence. I think some of the other stuff you can nitpick him on, I think is very fixable.
Well, yeah, and timing is. I mean, the speed of the NFL, and the speed of the offense, the speed of the defense is coming at you. Yeah. Timing is the most important thing. Timing and accuracy. So,
like even the guys that were all the calls, even all the people that were calling the pro day, you could just tell when you watch him, even all year. That's his biggest trait. He can really feel the game out very well. His timing and his feel of the game, the way he processes the field is very high. And I think the way he manipulates the pocket at times too is really good. So I think it would fit well in the offense.
I think those are the most important things, and those are things that can't be taught. Those are just intangibles. Yeah. And you can work with guys in their footwork. You can work with them and their throwing motion, obviously. But he's always shown he's got a great feel for the game, pocket awareness. He makes big plays when it counts. So, I mean, what else can you ask for? So you take the shot on the kid, and you got the guy there to help develop him. You put his number one guy with him at receiver. Shoring up your offensive line already. Get you a couple running backs in there. I mean, you're putting him in a good spot and shit. And I think Stefanski would be a good coach for him too.
Yeah, I think he would too. I think the whole offensive stat with Musgrave and Reese, I think would be really good for him.
Right. So, I'd be very excited. I just think it would be very exciting for Cleveland, and I like the idea of taking a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, you
Honestly,
don't.
I mean, at this point in this draft, this is what you had to pick from. You got Travis Hunter. You got the best player in the draft. I mean, at that point, it's like you need something at quarterback. I mean, and I think as an owner, you always want to try to get the biggest name, obviously, not the best player, but the guy could be a splash. And if he hits, it's a splash with his teammate.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest splash. And here, like I said many times on here, there's the league's gonna be in this guy's corner. You know what I mean? This guy's gonna have a lot going for him that other guys don't have, and just because of who his dad is and his dad's legacy, and so I mean, call it unfair, but it is what it is. And so I don't think there's taking him there over Will Howard or Quinn Ewers or Jalen Milroe. I mean, there's really, if you need a quarterback, you just take the guy. You're not losing out. You know what I mean? If he doesn't hit, he doesn't hit. I mean, I just don't believe there's another quarterback that I would say, oh God, no, you got to take this guy instead of Shedeur. I just don't believe that. And so, and you got to have a QB on that's not costing you a lot of money, because you still got to pay out Watson. You got to do the Russell Wilson thing like they did what they did in Denver after they got rid of Russell Wilson. So
yeah,
make the move.
Yeah,
and like you hear, the apparel sales, everything. I mean, it's a moneymaker.
Oh yeah. Andrew doesn't usually give out much, or doesn't give out much. It was clear that he was happy about the pro day. Even Dion said one of those guys will go to the Browns. Yeah, Mike, what do you think of that? Because everybody seemed really happy there on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that too. I mean, there's got it. Either Andrew had to give direct assurances, or maybe Jimmy did, but like Dion knows one of them is going. They're just either deciding, or like they told him straight up, "Hey, Travis is going to be. We're picking Travis." Like, so that's at least what it seems to me.
Yeah, Jeremy said the stadium drama, Deshaun Watson feel they need to make a splash to get the fans excited again. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. I mean, you lost a lot of fans. I mean, I know two guys. One of them, the guys I work with, is 30-year season ticket holder. He canceled his tickets. Yeah. Austin canceled his tickets. Austin was in the other day. He said he's not even watching them this year. I mean, these are. I mean,
Josh is now a Ravens fan.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a few. I'm sure there's thousands more. So, they have to do something to get the interest back in, and they better hope to gosh if it hits.
Well, it's been all over too. We've heard other fans outside of their people, longtime holders, that they're done. They've gone public with it. He said, my only concern with Shedeur is who we have to groom him.
Well, that's what they're waiting on. That's why they haven't taken a guy yet or picked a guy up, because they're waiting. They're getting their quarterback in the draft, and then they're going to take the guy that fits or suits that guy. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Speaking of Shedeur's confidence, here was him after the pro day, and this is a pretty confident response to me.
Tell him what does Shedeur Sanders need? What do you hope to get out of the NFL to help you reach your maximum potential as fast as possible?
All I need is opportunity. Simple. Whatever franchise want to change their franchise, then there's no doubt who to go with. I've done it over and over and over, so you'll be a fool not to pick me.
And Lewis mentioned again how it's them interviewing you and you interviewing them. But as far when they're interviewing you, if you're making the pitch as to why Shedeur Sanders should be the next quarterback of inserts team here, what are some of the strengths of your game that you feel like you highlight when you're talking to these teams?
Let me ask you a question. What's the most important trait of a quarterback?
I'd say decision making and accuracy, winning,
consistency.
That works too.
Look at the last 4 years.
Yeah.
That's how I know I'm the best quarterback in the draft.
The consistency of your decision making and accuracy. So it makes sense.
It checks all boxes.
Yeah, I got
At least the one guy, but I'm a Sanders. They can't put me.
Sounds pretty confident to me, Mike. What'd you think of his comments there?
Yeah, It seems pretty straightforward. Like I like his confidence. What he thinks he can bring to an NFL team, and hopefully he'll be throwing to Travis Hunter.
Jersey, what'd you think? What he had to say there?
Sounds like the son of Deion Sanders.
Yeah, he does.
They
That's what I was
ask him
gonna
a
say.
question, he turns around and asks them a question. So here, the guys got to be confident. You know what I mean? The quarterback has got to be confident, and so I don't think that'll ever get. I don't think that'll ever waver, and I think that's what makes or breaks quarterbacks. All these guys we've seen get drafted and they just become quote busts. They didn't have to be. I mean, if you got that kind of talent to where you get drafted, you had the ability to have a long lasting career. It's just somebody took your confidence away. You know what I mean? Or someone didn't coach you right, or you got put in a bad predicament. And so it'd be hard to break that kid's confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I like what he had to say there. Go ahead.
I feel good about it, and he's right. It's consistency. That's these guys you see that fall apart, and really in any position, they just can't stay consistent. They might have one good game or two good games, and all of a sudden he has six bad games. You know what I mean? And then they just slowly start to their game just starts to go away. They get worse and worse. And eventually, they're not even starting anymore, and then they're out of the league. So I just don't see that happening with him.
Yeah, I agree. I liked some of his answers there. I liked that he said most consistent, most accurate. He was the most accurate. I think it was Mike, the second most accurate quarterback in college football history, or something like that.
I think he's the most accurate, actually.
Yeah, very high accuracy. He was pretty consistent overall. So I mean, and I like what he said too about his words were, "You'd be a fool not to take me." So I mean, he's a pretty confident guy, and I think the accuracy is there, and so I don't think he didn't lie about a lot of anything. So it's all on tape and it's all in the numbers. But I'm trying to pull up here. I got some more clips for you guys from that day. Mike, you want to pull up some of the comments real quick?
Yeah.
We got some in there as well. You guys will hit the comments. I'm gonna get some of these. Trying to find a certain clip for you guys to play.
Fans are sick of the Browns failing over and over. And they will probably give Flacco if they draft Shedeur to monitor him. Graham Josh says that he's riding with that dump with the Browns. Jeremy says he gives me Johnny Manziel vibes.
He said how cocky and confident he was. What do you guys think of that? React to that.
And then he says minus the issues. I
don't have a problem with a guy being. I mean, here it's not his fault. Look who his dad is. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it, but Amber 7 brings up a great rebuttal. Manziel didn't even read playbooks. Shedeur is much more serious about his game and studies. Right. Like, yeah, you can be cocky, but you have to back it up, right? And while Manziel did with his play, like his work ethic surely wasn't nearly what Shedeur's is.
Well, I think the difference was their reasoning for playing football. And Johnny Manziel's was clearly about money. This kid's already got money. You know what I mean? This kid isn't playing football for money.
He doesn't love the game.
Yeah, and to carry on a legacy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was Johnny Manziel's demise, as he was chasing the wrong thing and he got mixed up in all the wrong things. And
he's chasing money, fame, and drugs.
Yeah, I mean, this kid's not. And this kid's got a great support system around him. And people forget that. Oh my gosh, his dad knows the league inside out. He knows everything. It's what I mean. He's got the greatest advisor that there is. He's got an NFL Hall of Famer and a guy that's still deeply entrenched into the league. I mean, he has, and that's what a lot of these guys don't have. They don't have the right advisors. This kid's got the right advisors, and then some. I mean, he's got Warren Sapp, all of his dad's friends, and This kid's got all the tools. He's got everything you'd want a young guy to have coming
One
into
of
the league.
his biggest mentors, Mike Vick.
Right. I'm just saying, Tom Brady, he's friends with Tom Brady. I mean, he just has, you can't get enough of that. You know what I mean? As a young guy coming into this league and all that pressure. So it's all about support, and he's got everything. So those are a lot of that stuff I would rather have than abilities that show on tape. You know what I mean? You got to look at the long term, and those are things that really matter in the beginning to help a guy, go through that, the ups and downs when you're a rookie or in your first year, and the pressure and to where you don't cave in and you actually get to your second contract, and then before you know it, you've played a whole career. So I'd rather have that than a guy that just looks unbelievable on tape, that looks flawless on tape, but he's a head case where he doesn't have a support system around him, because the NFL is going to destroy the guy. The business destroys the guy.
Oh, they'll fizzle out quickly.
Right. This kid's not. He's got all the support in the world.
Let's see here. Let me get a couple of these other ones here. Teflon Don's announced Sanders is not the pick for at number 2. We don't have him going number 2. We all think everybody thinks Travis is going number 2. We're talking about would you trade back in later on Teflon
if he falls.
If he falls, which sounds like he will. If we draft him, can we get Brady to be our QB coach? Can Coach Prime and his God-given gift of Gab convince Tom to come coach, groom his son? Well, Tom's part owner of the Raiders.
Yeah, I was
so
about to say he can't even legally play for another team, let alone coach for one anymore, as if it's not the Las Vegas Raiders, according to the NFL and the NFLPA. He could coach for the Raiders whenever he wants, but not another NFL team. He'd have to sell his shares.
But here,
which he will not do.
Just because Tom's the greatest quarterback in history doesn't mean he's a good coach. You know what I mean? He might be a good mentor, just a guy to bounce shit off of.
He can sell his share. He ain't selling shares to come be a quarterback coach in Cleveland.
But
he's trying to be a majority owner of that franchise eventually. That's what he's working.
Yeah, I don't think
day-to-day coaching with a young quarterback, doesn't mean he's going to be good at that. Doesn't mean he'd be bad either. But
you want to sell your 40% stock in an NFL team to be a QB coach?
I mean, most great quarterback coaches, the best in the business, weren't great NFL quarterbacks, but they're the best coaches.
Right.
I mean, for instance, look, maybe in college, the best quarterback developers probably in college, one of the best, if not the best for NFL, is Brian Brom and Jeff Brom down in Louisville, the Brom brothers. Phenomenal quarterback developers. The guy's over the league. I mean, hell, the guy we have here, Tommy Reese, I think will become a very underrated quarterback developer. Milroe, I thought, had his best season under Tommy Reese, and then when Tommy left, I think his mechanics and stuff went to shit, and it wasn't the same.
Tommy Reese, we got
and it wasn't his fault. He was poorly coached last year, in my opinion. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach, but I think Jalen Milroe was in a bad situation last year with the turnover from coach, from Saban to. Yeah, it was just a tough situation, but I think him and Billy Musgrave, I think, will do well with a young quarterback. I think Kevin as well. So, but not every great quarterback will be a great coach, because a lot of times they aren't, because they don't have the patience.
Well, that's just it.
Or they try to like any great player. What Warren Sapp said recently at after one of their spring practices was the biggest thing he learned last year was. Warren was trying to teach the D lineman early on to be like him, and when they didn't do the moves the way he did it, he'd get upset. But then Warren said he had to take a step back and realize, like, okay, that's him. That player, that's how he does it. That's his skill set. That's how he's built. He needs to do it that way, the move that way. He needs to play that way. And then he said once he made that, figured that out, then things started to change. He started to coach guys differently. It was more about them playing the way to their strengths and not trying to be like how he wanted to be like him.
Right. And that takes like a certain level of selflessness or patience that I think
Awareness.
the all-time greats don't have. I don't think they can have it, like Michael Jordan or Tom Brady. Although they were great leaders on the team, they led with their play and their work ethic. Doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they have the mindset to, coach the way you're supposed to coach. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I don't think they have it in them. Like Kobe Bryant could never. I don't think Kobe Bryant could have ever been a coach. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan,
Not a head. I
Magic.
mean, he was coaching younger. He can coach youth, but not. He probably
Yeah, but that was a little bit. He's obviously he couldn't do it in the
teach though.
pros.
He was a really good teacher.
Their standards are too high.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys that become all-time greats like that, their standards are so high, and I think that they have to be selfish to an extent to get to where they got to. So I think that's why none of them are. I remember Magic Johnson trying to coach the Lakers. It was terrible. Jordan was terrible as an owner, and then out there as an owner player. I mean, just
the only one I can remember. I mean, Larry Bird with the Pacers for that little stint when they made. I mean, they went deep in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he has some great players, but I mean, never won. You know what I mean? So, I just think they contradict each other.
He said he doesn't need the money. Maybe it would scratch his itch, give him that camaraderie again. Amber said Jeremy Brady wants to run his organization and have legacy. He doesn't want to be a coach. LOL. Jeremy said, "I know. I'm just putting it into the universe. I'm putting it out into the universe. Excuse me." A couple more clips I want to play with you guys before we get out of here. Let's see here. So this is what Deion Sanders had to say about his meeting with Jimmy Haslam, and I thought this was kind of interesting. Deion looked really happy when he talked about the Browns. He was kiki with him on the sideline, chatting it up with them, and smiling real big the whole day. Here's what Deion had to say.
Pleasant. It was charming. It was engaging, and it was cool. It was all right. He's a good guy, and I like it. I like him. Coach, I think one of those guys is gonna be there.
Taylor, go ahead.
I think one of those guys is going to be there. Did you hear that, Mike?
Yep. I love that.
What did you think of his comments there, Mike? Hold on, we got too much noise in the background. What did you think, Mike, of his comments there about Jimmy Haslam and what he said there at the end?
I mean, I think it tells you all we need to know.
That's it.
That's it. And we'll have to see if it's going to be a Sanders family party down in Cleveland. If just so you know, if we end up getting both of them, Deion Sanders will be making an appearance on Sundays. Like, we will be seeing him. They'll show pan to the camera, Taylor Swift style, but it's just going to be Deion in Browns gear. Oh my God, that'd be wild.
Jersey, what'd you think of his comments there about Haslam?
Being a father, he knew something. Had that dinner the night before. And then I was before the workout started. I was watching with Louis Riddick and that commentator, and I mean, he looked like the proudest. He looked like any father would be. You know what I mean? He was just on cloud nine. So he found out something the night before, and it was, I'm with Mike. It pretty much, they didn't tell them, "Hey, we're picking Travis. It was nice having dinner with you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're going to show up tomorrow too. The whole damn team's going to show up. They didn't say that to Deion. That was just insult Deion Sanders. You know what I mean? They would have had separate dinners. They wouldn't have had dinner together with Travis and Shedeur. So, they put their plan together. They probably said, "Here, we got to take." I think we're all in agreement. Travis has to go too. And they probably came to an agreement. There's a possibility that Shedeur is going to fall They laid it all out, all the possibilities, plan A, plan B, plan C, and said, this is what we're going to do. And I'd be happy as hell too if I was him. Number one, your kid's getting drafted. Two, he's going to be with his best friend. You know what I mean? And then if you like Jimmy and the rest of the team, I mean, I'd be happy as hell too.
Yeah, I think too. I don't know if there's any other place that you would have both of them be than Cleveland. I feel like it's the place where you can have the experiment. Somewhat, no, it's an experiment, but where you bring that, bring the tandem to. I don't know why. It seems like it just fits Cleveland. It's a Cleveland type of thing to do. To me.
Well, here's the other thing too. This Louis Riddick is somehow, some way going to be involved in all this if he already isn't. I mean, just by the things that Deion said about him last year, and then he met with the Browns before that Baltimore game. You can just see the two of them together the way they are.
Louis Riddick become the president of football operations for the Browns.
Maybe. I mean, maybe that's when they get rid of that goon. That's who they bring in. And so, Louis Riddick at some point is going to be, I believe, in the Browns organization, and he's tied to all this.
Yeah. And I think too, I saw Mel Kiper throw out a theory about the Giants trying to get both of them, which I think that's not going to happen. But I think it was kind of funny they're throwing that out there now as those two as a tandem somewhere. And I think Cleveland seems to be the spot where it would happen. What do you say? No way they tell his son to fall. I think they told him to decide between Travis and Shedeur is my guess. No, I don't. Well, I don't think they told him that they're deciding between the two.
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they know Travis is going. Everybody knows Travis is going.
Yeah, they know. Deion knows. He coached the guy. I mean, it's no secret. He's the best football player in the draft.
I think they know there's a chance he could fall. I mean, here, they know who was at the damn pro day. They know who had the heaviest attendance there, and whoever has the heaviest attendance is the one who's usually the most interested. And there's more to the stuff behind the scenes that we don't see, obviously, because we're not involved. There's interviews, there's meetings, there's agents feel out things. There's a lot that goes into it. That these guys have a lot of insight into who's thinking what.
Well,
Go ahead.
They're not telling him to fall. They're just telling him the harsh reality of, look, this guy. They're not picking a quarterback. They're not picking a quarterback. They're not picking a quarterback. It's very likely you're going to fall here. And yes, they would tell him. They don't really care. Jimmy Haslam's a multi-billionaire. You don't give a shit who he offends. You know what I mean? So they'll gladly tell him and say, hey, when it does happen, this is what we're going to do. So absolutely. And here, they're not. They're not. Deion saying they got to be realistic. Yeah, would the kid want to go one or two? Yeah, absolutely. But is he going to? No. So, I think that you got all laid out, and this is what their plan's going to be.
Mike, do you think there's any chance that if he started to fall, that Deion would maybe pull an Eli Manning and force his way to Cleveland on draft day?
If he starts to fall, yeah. I mean, at that point, he'd still be a first-round pick. He knows Cleveland needs a quarterback, and if they already have Travis, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I mean, where do I want my son to go if not with my other adopted son, and he'll start immediately or at least within the same year.
Jersey, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a father, you want your kid in the best situation. Here's the other thing. He's not going one, and he's not going two. So I said this last week. Who cares where he goes? And he's got to be thinking the same thing. If I can't go one or two, and I don't need the money, I don't really care if I go 3 or 28 or 25 or 19. I really don't care at that point. You know what I mean? Now it becomes about getting in the best position, the best spot, the best people around me, best coaches around me, best opportunity. You know what I mean? And that's what he just said, that interview with Shedeur, he said, I just want an opportunity. Yeah, and what he's saying is, I want an opportunity on a team, but he also wants the best opportunity. And I think that's what only thing a father can ask for. So, And it might not be, sometimes the best opportunity isn't the major market. You know what I mean? But again, this kid's he's not playing for money. You know what I mean? He's gonna have money coming from endorsements, and so he's playing for a legacy. And it's all about the second contract. You know what I mean? The third contract. So I don't really think he cares if he's third or fourth or or 19th or 25th or 28th. I don't think he really cares. I think I think their biggest concern, Deion's biggest concern, is if his son gets put in a horrible predicament.
Well, I got something to add to that in a second. Amber said that is rude. I don't think Browns would know Shedeur is falling or not. Well, I mean, I think they get it. Every team has intel what's going on. That's not a secret.
Well, I mean, here it's the Browns or the Giants have a quarterback. I mean, that's what you do in mock draft. I mean, you look at, okay, this team's not going to take a quarterback. This team's not going to take a quarterback. So it's very likely this guy's going to drop. It's just business. It's not whether
right. Cincinnati's not taking him at whatever pick.
Right. It's just business, and they're treating it as business.
They know how to play the chess game. I doubt Deion would stop Shedeur going to Saints for Browns if Browns passed on him, unless it's Jets. Well, that's where he would slide. It's if he gets past the Saints. I'm not saying you tell him at that point. If he gets out of the top 10, there's a good chance he starts sliding, right, Mike?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, if the Saints take it, great. You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying he's going to stop him going to Saints. I think if he gets out of the top 10, then I think it's game on.
Right, and that's probably what they talked about. Here, if you're not picked by 10, you're probably going to drop based on needs, and then we're going to come up and grab you.
Yeah, well, here's what Deion had to say about a lot of that on Skip Bayless' show. That a lot of people didn't react to this.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't had a chance to ask you this, but would you be okay with Shedeur playing in Tennessee or Cleveland, who apparently are not that interested in him, but I don't know if it's smokescreen.
Yeah.
But would you be cool with those two teams drafting your son?
Tennessee needs a quarterback. Cleveland needs a quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback. The Saints need a quarterback. I can keep going. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. Like, it's several teams that need a quarterback. So we're not panicking, and we're not tripping, because first of all, this is a blessing for us, man. Like he chose the route to come with his dad to HBCU. So we knew we were up against the 8 ball and we were going to go through some bull junk already. We already knew that, both my kids and all the kids I coach. So coming over to Colorado and flipping it on them and saying, all right, well, you said we couldn't do this. The first game, he throws for, 400 or 500 down there. So, yeah, and Shiloh's knocking everybody's heads off. So, no, they could do that. So, and Travis couldn't do this. No, he could do that. And the rest of my guys are doing their thing. We understood and understand what we're up against. But the later some of them go, the better the team. So don't think it's a curse. It's still going to be a blessing, because you really don't tally. Everybody talk about who won the draft. You can't tell who won the draft until 3-4 years later. That's when you can tell who won the draft, not just because they were anticipated to be this or that. Because that's just like college football. Who had the best class? Well, who paid the most? That's pretty much who has the best class.
But but you don't know for 3 or 4 more years who actually had the savvy to pick the right guys, right?
You go. This year, be this or that, because that's just like college football. You can tell who won the draft. We understood and understand what we're up against. But the later some of them go, the better the team. So don't think it's a curse. It's still going to be a blessing, because you really don't tally. Everybody talk about who won the draft. You can't.
The later you go, it's not a big deal, Jersey. What'd you think of that?
One thing I keyed in on the most is how many times you said we.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think, he talked about, Jackson State and going to Colorado. I think they want to keep that same thing going where they're together.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's a family. He's always said family, 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 family. And, I think that's the goal. And whoever takes Travis, I think, is going to be where they're going to want. I just really believe that where Travis, whoever gets Travis, is where Shedeur is most likely to end up.
And I
I
just
think it's
thought
planned
when I
out.
heard him say that, he's not wrong. Patrick Mahomes and Lamar went to good situation, and Lamar went to 32, and yeah, nobody cared because I mean, people made a big deal because Lamar got picked 32nd that night, but really he went to the best situation possible, 32, right? I mean, he went to a franchise that had great stability, coaching, they in a culture, and they built right around him. Who cares if it was the 32nd pick in the draft? It was the best situation for him. Now look at him; he's a two-time MVP and one of the best quarterbacks in all of football.
Well,
And
all that
so,
mattered was that second contract.
right, he got that second contract, got that fifth, and the team got the fifth-year option on him, and it worked out for both sides. And you see what it's become. I mean, I think that's what we've been saying all show, especially the last 20 minutes, is it doesn't matter if he falls. They don't care about that because all, like Dion just said out of his own mouth, it's all about the right situation. And if he falls later on in the draft, hell, we'd rather fall and have Cleveland come up and get him because Travis is there and they need a quarterback, like he said, and it's the right situation, we think, for him. And his guy over there and his boy who he played with, Billy Musgrave, is quarterback coach.
And you know, and he said you don't know who won a draft to 4 years later. Well, what happens after 4 years?
Get the second contract.
Second contract. So it don't really matter where you're drafted. Like, yeah, Lamar Jackson was taken 32.
Last pick in the first round. People made a big deal.
And Baker was taking 1. Who got the bigger contract? You know what I mean?
Player.
That's all that matters is that second contract.
Situation.
Right. So who cares where you're picked? It don't matter. It really. I mean, it's controlled money. I mean, it matters to a guy that's not. I guess it matters to a guy that needs the money right now or isn't really sure if he's going to play for a long, long time. I mean, these guys, this kid plans on playing forever, so he don't really give a shit where he's picked. It's not about the money, and he knows he's not going to go 1 or 2. So again, I don't think he really gives a shit after 1 or 2 where he's going to be picked at.
Well, no, and if you go to the right situation, you have a higher chance of getting the bag if you pan out.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you go to the wrong situation, you're not going to get that second bag because you might not pay.
That's what you should be worried about on your rookie when your rookie is getting to the right situation.
Yeah.
To help you get to that second contract when you get paid.
Yeah, I mean, what not a better weapon for him than his buddy his first year? I mean, that would be I don't know if that's ever happened. I mean, outside of Burrow, I mean, well, that's one example. You see Burrow and Chase, what that's become. They played together in college, and look how it's panned out. It's very rare it happens, but when it does happen, we've seen it with those two. It's a 1-2 dynamic punch.
Right. I mean, hell, he could be like in 4 years. If let's just say he plays really well and he pans out, and he might be the guy. He could be the guy that gets the first $1 billion contract.
Travis?
No, I'm talking about Shedeur.
You think $1 billion contract?
Somebody's going to get $1 billion contract.
I don't think it'll be him. I don't think he's going to be that. Maybe Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I mean, Mahomes starts to play. So, what? How many more years? He's on a 10-year, $500 million.
Yeah, I think they still got a long way to go though before they get the billions.
No, they don't. The reason I say that is because they don't. I don't think so. I mean, if you got hell no. If the money that's coming, oh my gosh, no. Like you said, these guys are going to get their own salary cap. Someone's going to get $1 billion contract. It'll be a long-term contract like Mahomes got, but somebody's going to get it.
Yeah, probably.
And
I think it will happen at one day. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know when.
I'm telling you, it'll happen in 4 to 5 years.
Man, $1 billion contract. It would have to be a Pat Mahomes type of deal.
Well, I've always thought it would be Mahomes, but he's still got a handful of years left. But you just don't know. I mean, but if a guy's like super marketable, like this kid could end up being, and if he's playing really well, look at the money you're making off of him. It's worth paying him.
Well, he'd have to be pretty damn good. He'd have to be top 5 at least for me. But
I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, he would be, but that's what I'm saying. If he were,
Yeah.
If he
Well, yeah,
were,
'cause
and
the
in the
name
name
and
that he
yeah.
has and his marketability, he could be that guy. You know, I'm just saying, I believe in 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years, by that time, someone's getting a contract that large.
Yeah. No, I agree. Mike has attended something else, so I think we'll see him next week. But we're wrapped up anyways. Jersey, you guys else you want to add tonight?
Nope. Thanks for watching. Everybody have a great week. And like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and almost there to the draft, Jersey. We're almost there. It's gonna be a great night, so I can't wait for it.
Sure
Less than
is.
2 weeks now. So, yeah, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys in the next one. We're out of here.